Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's video, we're going to discuss or continue to discuss Tiffany Henyard. Last night or yesterday, we wasn't able to finish the Dalton Township supervisor meeting, and I do want to highlight some of the public comments of that meeting. So we'll take a further look into that. Hopefully, we have a better audio. I found some better audio with Lansing Journal, and they just posted it up on their YouTube channel, so we'll just be using that. Also, we're going to discuss the DNC. DNC had several speakers last night, and one in particular, which is kind of baffling to me. This guy, he was the sheriff. He's a sheriff that's in one of those border towns. I believe he's located in Arizona or New Mexico somewhere. But anywho, he was sending praise to Kamala Harris over the border, which is pretty odd to me because just prior to her accepting her fake nomination for the presidential election, she was the worst border czar that ever, I guess, was over the history of the United States. So I don't know how much they paid him, but I'm pretty sure that they did pay this guy to speak highly of Kamala Harris. Anywho, so we'll be discussing some of the DNC talking points, and there's some other things that I want to talk about that's going on. Okay, so you guys stay tuned for another episode. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. That's right. You guys put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. Please put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. Jerome Black, Detroit in the house. What up, though? 313 is in the building. Noble Young is in the building. It's always good to see you. Styles by Bobby tuning in from Baltimore. It's always good to see you, Styles by Bobby. Phyllis Rainey tuning in from Dalton, Illinois. Chuck D, thank you for tuning in. Jennifer L is tuning in from Cincinnati. We have Chuck D's tuning in from Minneapolis. And thank you, Emperor, for tuning in. Okay, I'm not going to hold you guys up a long time. I mean, yesterday was a crazy day for Miss Tiffany Henyard. And reason why I'm saying that, they dropped this video yesterday. When I logged off, I went back on Facebook, and then I saw this video pop up on my feed. And they posted this video. Screen. Let me just share this. They posted this video on Facebook. And I'm saying Dalton Township. Dalton Township actually posted this video. Let me switch backgrounds. Okay. And they posted this video yesterday, and it popped up in my feed, and I'm thinking, like, what is this all about? I'm kind of confused what Tiffany, what she's trying to do, as I guess she's trying to become a TV personality now. I'm not for sure. Last year she was trying to do that, become a YouTube star or YouTuber or social media star. I guess she's trying to do this again. So apparently, let me see, Dalton Township. Apparently, Tiffany is launching, I don't know, a cooking show. And it says on this post, it says, do you enjoy cooking? Are you a resident? Supervisor Tiffany Henyard wants to cook with you.
The detergent won't come out.
Put some hot water on it, it'll come out. It's stuck because the cap is gone. So just put some hot water on it. I'm sorry. Every month, she will meet with a new resident in the kitchen to trade recipes for some of your favorite dishes. Tune in for every fourth Wednesday on the month for some tasty tips. Okay? And this is her. I don't know where's the
for mayor. You're gonna cook all the items in the box. Guys, you're gonna get the opportunity to cook with me. Yes, you're a super mayor. You're gonna cook all the items in the box, and you're gonna be able to showcase your skills here on live at Thornton Township. We have everything to choose from in the box. Each week will be something different, some awesome, and sometimes we'll even do some desserts. But stay tuned because it's gonna be really, really epic. Ooh, y'all gonna love this. Cooking with Tiff.
Now, Tiffany, I looked at the video and one of my is set off an alarm. I saw her pouring milk and ground beef. Then I typed that in the comment. Who the hell use milk with ground beef? That's alarming to me. And somebody said, in the comments saying, "Oh, I use milk for as a binding agent for my my meatloaf." Ill, but anyway, I'm not going to judge you if you use milk for a binding agent in meatloaf. The only problem with this video is Tiffany. Okay. Tiffany, why do you have to be on every single thing that Thornton Township does? Okay, even you're not over the cooking department. You're not over the food pantry department. Why can't Keith Price? I'm not going to use a negative term, but you know how he looks. Why can't his ass get on a video and start cooking? No, but you have to be the face of every single last thing. And it's pretty disgusting. You want to be the face of Thornton Township, but don't want to do the work. You do not want to have the accountability of Thornton Township. Or Dalton, of that matter. You want to have that name title per se, but you don't want to carry the accountability and the responsibility of the outcome of Thornton Township. Everything is a party to you. And it's really sad. It's really sad that she's I don't know if she's running for the supervisor position. She hasn't made that announcement yet. But your township, your city is in shambles. It's in shambles, and you continue to have these type of charades. And people are wondering, we don't give a damn about how you cook and what you can make out of your food free basket. We don't give a damn. And more likely the seniors is probably not even watching this. The seniors that actually get the box of food, they're not going to watch this. They're not going to watch that. And you can't answer simple questions like where the money's at. Where the money is. Where the money is, Tiffany. Come on now. Where the money is. You can't answer those type of questions. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about that. You showcasing nasty cooking. Don't make no damn sense. Okay? Then this was another post, okay? Another post, it says between 2023 and February 2024, Thornton Township, under the direction of Tiffany Henyard, used taxpayer funds to give away the following: men's t-shirts, underwear, more than $10,500 in gift cards, Christmas events costing more than $10,000, more than $40,000 given away at bingo events, $40,000. Around 50 Roku and Vizio TV ranging between 50 and 55 inch and 65-inch versions. $1,200 worth of luggage for Macy's, more than $47,000 in gas and private vehicles for Henyard's well-advertised gas giveaway. And it says nothing in the Township Code authorizes any of this frivolous, unauthorized gifting of taxpayers' money. I guess this is a screenshot from Hannibal is Hungry on YouTube. And this is why I wanted to highlight the comments on the Dalton Township meeting, because one of the commenters is saying, now where is Mr. Videographer who was complaining about not getting paid last night? Let's see if he can ask Tiff why these funds didn't get directed to him. Oh yeah, right. He say it's the trustees. And it says one thing, somebody else says one thing that really bothered me, Michael Smith and the video guy. Both of them said that their moms depends on the rent, food, and lawn service. These grown men can't take time out for their mothers to see if they need anything. If my mom needed anything, trust me, me and my siblings and our all grown kids keeps will be cash app quickly. Never have to worry about her lawn. Stepfather does regularly, and their lot is over an acre. And I don't understand, where is the social services in the area? Medicare is different in every state, but I get 12 round trip rides free throughout the year. Then I wait for my sister 1 day a week to take me to do little things. And she said, I'm babbling. They have a point. You're complaining about city services and seniors depending on these services. And I don't doubt that some seniors need these services. I'm not saying that. But I do, if they're staying in a home and they have to worry about lawn care and all that, where are their kids, number one, and maybe their kids are not around, so okay. And then number two, are they still paying their property taxes? If they're keeping up with their property taxes, okay, it comes with the territory. If you can't mow the lawn anymore, you're gonna have to pay somebody to mow the lawn. That might sounds really mean, but come on, think about it. My husband's mother has she lives by herself and she has a house. But she knows one of the expenditures to keeping her house so people will know it's not abandoned is to have her lawn mowed. Nobody else is going to do it. So she has to hire somebody, or my husband's uncles live around the corner and sometimes they'll stop by and do it. But she's not just going to let her lawn look any type of way either. It's not going to happen. Most black people of that age, if they own something, they take pride in it. They just don't sit there and let it go to waste. And maybe I'm just fussing. Maybe I'm old school and thinking of something different. Okay, so like I said, this is what Tiffany is claiming the trustees and you know her henchmen they're blaming the trustees for not paying these fees and services. of the free lawn care, the free food, the free bingo prizes, that you do not need these types of things. You totally don't need them. Okay, so this is...
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car.
This is the end of the meeting, okay?
That's how much I would...
At the risk of making this long video even longer.
This woman has destroyed Dalton. So
this is, I think we already saw Thelma Price yesterday. Let me just get to where we saw. Did we see her?
That is so disrespectful. But anyway, I was only coming out to this meeting to try to learn. I've been in this community for about 20 years, and I decided that I would come out and try to get involved in my community and learn different
You guys put in the chat, let me know that you could hear this audio okay.
things. Okay, so number one, as a school teacher, you cannot double dip. And so I would suggest to you guys, and Tiffany Henyard, that is very disrespectful, okay, to what you're doing. But anyway, people cannot double dip in a job, okay? So from what I'm hearing, according to the agenda, they can only have one position. They should not be here working at one thing and then they're DJ or a photographer. You can only have one job, okay? My second reason really for coming was to find out if, as a Thornton supervisor, had you gotten with the mayors and seen what were you gonna do to help the residents of these 17 villages on their property taxes? What is the plan for that? So that was my question, and I did want an answer, but I will return tomorrow, and maybe you will have an answer for me, okay? Oh, it's a Thornton Township, so I know that we come to those and we can ask questions. Township talk, yes, and we do come and ask questions, so I will be here. I have been involved in those. But I did want to know, was there a plan? I've asked the mayor of South Holland, and I want to know what you guys are planning to do as homes are becoming foreclosed on and residents are losing their homes. We need to do something about that, as well as put a cap on all of this spending and get something under wraps. But again, people cannot go. I'm sorry with that.
I'll read my statement now.
Okay, Mike, 1 second. Go to the mic. You gonna start it? All right, go ahead.
It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of the deeds could.
Michael Smith prepared this long, I guess, sermon. I guess he wants to preach to the residents about being God-fearing or following the Bible. So he's, I guess, talking about these Bible parables that people should recognize and take heed, use them as an example. And it doesn't make any sense, Michael. You need to go sit down.
Done them better.
And this is why the residents are walking out.
The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives diligently, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of the achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. My message tonight to all of the residents of Thornton Township: I watched people disrespect leadership. I challenge you to take on becoming a leader and sitting in that seat, because you don't know what it means to sit in that seat and have to endure the things that you have to endure, the meetings you go to, trying to help your residents, trying to help your citizens, and you have people.
Respect is earned. It's just not given to you. They're giving Tiffany what she has given them. Okay, so when the residents are, giving lip service or talking back to Tiffany, because Tiffany's already showed that she's ghetto and she is with the hood stuff. So they're giving her what she's giving them. What are you talking about, Michael Smith? You're sitting up here saying, I challenge anybody, and I'm not taking away from the position, because we know this, being in politics is probably a thankless job for some, but most, they having some type of opportunity afforded to them. And I'm not talking about the position. I'm talking about the position of power. Most politicians enrich themselves while they're in office, while they're in office, and then after their whole term. You name me one politician that did not enrich themselves. Name me one. And not to say it's illegal, but I just want to know one politician that have not enriched themselves for being in office. So he's sitting on here on this high horse because he's been in this position, not Tiffany's position, but an elected official. But you're sitting here acting like you're so much better than all these other normal everyday citizens. I would like to know if Michael Smith owned his home. Does he pay taxes? And if you did, you probably wouldn't be carrying the same sentiment. Or are you living in an apartment? Or if you're married, your home is probably under your baby mama's name. Because we know you came from nothing. You a piece of work. Oh, well, let me just say you're a piece of shit. So what are you talking about? So you're acting as if the residents don't have any right to be upset or mad at Tiffany Henyard. And in the way that she speaks to them.
That come to be disrespectful. To be disrespectful. And we have people that blurt out. Now, I sat quietly while everybody else had their time to talk. But then, when somebody comes up and not talking, you talk. In your language, you don't want to hear. That's disrespect. What I learned is you have to have respect. You have to have respect. And what I'm saying is, until you sit in that seat as an elected official, you don't know what elected officials have to go through. But what I am going to say is, we need education in our community on government. Because if we really understood government, we will understand what the supervisor's job is, we'll understand what the trustee's job is. What I've been seeing in the news is the trustees trying to do the supervisor's job. And I challenge you, if you want to do that, run for supervisor. Run for the position. Run for the position.
They're trying to do their jobs. The trustees is there to govern the spending of the township. And that's the only thing that they're trying to do. They're not trying to host events. They're not trying to say, hey, we need to feed the food pantry. They're just waiting for Robert E. Hunt to tell them, okay, we're spending X amount of dollars in each department next year. And they're there to say, okay, I don't think we have this type of money right now because we spend X, Y, and Z on this. That's their only position. And to make sure or to ensure Tiffany doesn't bankrupt the Thornton Township. That's not taking over Tiffany's job. They're not trying to have any parties. Tiffany is the only one who's trying to have bingo parties and give away what? $40,000 worth of TVs and kitchen appliances over a span of 1 year. She's trying to buy her way back into that seat. And what you guys, I said this before. If you fool around with Tiffany, you're going to find out you're going to end up with Tiffany again, because Tiffany is smart. She knows she needs to be charismatic with the seniors. Why be charismatic with the seniors? Because that's the only people that's voting. That's the only people that show up for the local election. I mean, let's be real. It's not the 20-something-year-old people that's showing up for the Thornton Township election, supervisor election. They don't give a damn about board of trustees. Only people that gives a damn about local elections is usually the elderly people. That's why they have the most low, or in general, we have low voter turnout during those type of elections. And the biggest turnout is seniors. Because they the ones who's caring. Because they the ones who own the property there. So Tiffany, she's putting her dollar where it's most effective. And it's not her dollar. She's putting your dollar where it's most effective. So y'all can play around with Tiffany if you want to. You're going to end up with Tiffany again if you don't show up for that election. This is besides the FBI trying to come in and take over or give Tiffany a charge or anything like that. This is besides that. If the FBI doesn't come in time, we know what's coming. It's down the pipeline. But if they don't come before that election happen, Tiffany will be in office again. And then what are you going to do? You're going to sit there and cry about it? And then we're going to hear Michael Smith. You guys going to be arguing and cussing Tiffany out. But you guys didn't galvanize your base to get them riled up to be mad as hell at Tiffany, to vote her off the ticket and vote somebody else in. Anyway, that's my own personal opinion. You might not like what I said, but that's the truth. That's the reality that Thornton Township is facing. If you don't show up for the polls or at the polls to get her ass out, she's going to be there again, spending all your damn money. And you're going to have to listen to Michael Smith again.
Because you're bound by governing laws that govern how you are and what you're supposed to do. Now, what I have not seen is this board talk about going to trainings. And I'm going to say, you need trainings. You need to understand your position.
And he needs to shut the hell up. You need training to shut the hell up, because apparently you don't know what the board of trustees are there to do. And that's probably why you only served one term in Robertson. Well, we already know, you guys, if you want to watch that last video about Michael Smith, we know why he served one term. Because he was stealing. He was stealing from the township or the city. He used to be the trustees in Robertson, Illinois, and he was stealing. It was a Robertson or Robbins, Illinois, and he was stealing from the city. That's why he had to step down. I don't even think he served a full term. He had to step down. So what are you talking about? You need training on not to steal and not to be a predator, because that I hear that's one of his demons. So what are you lecturing you on this pedestal like you a preacher or something, lecturing the people like you somebody? You need to take a whole seat. I'm tired of listening to him. He done made me mad. This next lady.
Good evening to the
Edna Boston.
great people that are brave enough to stay. I find this is very unfortunate and sad. All of those people that got up and walked out and were disrespectful on their way out shows their mentality, their lack of respect. It's disrespect, it's dishonor, it's disorder, it's just plain old different, and it wasn't necessary. If you exit in the room, you teach first graders to exit. And these people are going out cursing, using foul language, saying foul things. It's not okay. I don't care who you're supporting. See, this ain't high school to me. And I'm not on nobody's team. I'm on the township's team. I'm not here to support Tiffany. I am here to support nobody. Okay? But I'm going to tell you what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. You're wrong. When we pay board members to come and be prepared to make something, I'm getting tired of hearing we're tabling it. How much does a board member make? Can anyone just give me an idea? Because I was surprised you got a salary. So
no, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. I'm sorry, I got to disagree with her too. And I'm not disagreeing with her to the point where they shouldn't be prepared. I agree on that point. But if they have to table it until they get better understanding to make a vote, so they vote could be intelligent, what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? What's the repercussions if Thornton Township goes under? I mean, if they can't, and you guys let me know, because I'm not for sure how a township will work differently than a city per se. Because a township essentially, you're collecting taxes. Well, this particular township is set up to collect taxes from many different cities. Okay, so if we're saying, okay, this township is potentially to go bankrupt because of X, Y, and Z, maybe lawsuits because of Tiffany, because they do have 3 lawsuits out there, or because of her frivolous spending. They don't have any collateral, right, to get a bond issue. Tiffany is bonded, but can the Thornton Township in general get a bond? I don't think they could. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they could get a bond as a township, or like a town, because they have a collective people or collective cities that's under this township. So are they allowed to get bonds? I don't think so. And another thing I want to point out, as far as the budget, can a township operate of a net zero budget? I think they can, but why should they? Okay. I don't think a township should be incurring, unless something happened, but I don't think they should be incurring like frivolous lawsuits, like police lawsuits and stuff like that, because they don't have a police department. This is supposed to be a township or a entity, a government entity for services, senior services. Most of their revenue is probably coming, the millages on the taxes, or, some type of grant. So city services or township services. Okay, and if it goes under, do you expect them to, if they get a deficit, a large deficit, would you want your taxes to increase? You guys throw a lifeline. I'm just throwing questions out there because this lady acts as if the budget is the budget for next year, 2025. And she acts as if the budget is being spent right now. They don't have any time left. That's how she's acting.
Please, how much is your income for being a trustee? It's public.
And then this is a voted position. So if they make $65,000, okay, if you don't like their salary, maybe you guys need to petition to lower their salary.
Knowledge. So, I'm sorry? I have to submit a board request. For it. Okay, so you're not going to tell us what your income is, but I looked it up. I Googled it, and it said somewhere around $64,000 and up. For you to show up at a meeting and say that, well, I didn't have time to look at it, we need to table it, we need to move forward. Look, I don't care that we're not in agreement. Like I said before, we're not all Democratic, we're not all Republican, but when it comes to this township, we are a community. And it's important that we show up as a united community. So this is not high school. Stop trying to be the cheerleader. I actually seen a board member last week, you know who you are, so I won't embarrass you, meet outside with his group of cheerleaders, and that's what I called them. I stood there and listened to them, and they said, no, we're not going to say anything this week, but next week we're going to blow it up. We're going to have this and this. What is that about? What is that about? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. If you haven't, you want to support somebody, fine, do that. We're all entitled to that. But can we please just grow the hell up, get something done, I'm tired of stuff.
Time.
Oh, time isn't important because everybody get up here, go over it, and it doesn't matter. I mean, this man stood up here and went, 10 minutes over, and he's going to get his point through.
Valerie Stubbs.
But I will not do that.
Good evening, everyone. Trustees, you did an awesome job. I'm so proud of you, with the exception of one trustee. It's a shame that I've been here since 4:45. And it's a shame that we take our time out to come to these meetings to get information on what's going on in our community. It's a shame that Tiffany asked us to be respectful, to not make any noise, no outbursts, but yet the disrespect when the resident gets up here and make a comment, she's hold her head down dwindling. And that actually depends upon who you are, whether or not you want to hear it. The lady that just left from up here, she clapped, held her head up, and it's a shame. And in 2025, I want all of us that live in Thornton Township to take care of that because it's an embarrassment to us. We're the laughing stock of the world. All over the world, we have the worst mayor and the worst supervisor in the world. I went to her event last Saturday. The money that was spent on the bleachers alone was a fortune. And unfortunately, it was maybe 100 people there. You might want to, I commend you for curtailing the spending because that was a waste of my tax dollars. The big bingo, as long as I've been black and going to different bingo events, I've never seen anybody give away washing machines, big screen 75-inch TVs. Those are our tax dollars. Stop letting her buy you. Stop letting her give you a box of chicken. If you need some food, look me up. I'll take you to the grocery store and buy you some food. If you teach a man how to fish, he can fish forever. If you keep going and getting them handouts like we destitute, there's a lot of people that live in Thornton Township and in Dalton that make a great income. I make over 6 figures. Okay? There's people in this room that I know of make over 6 figures. Stop treating us like we're destitute, that we need a handout. Cut your own grass. You knew when you bought a house that your grass had to be cut. Stop using the services. You know, if you can afford it, do it. And stop taking the handouts. Stop letting her treat us like we destitute.
Time.
You can buy your own kid a book bag. If not, call me up. I'll buy your kid some school supplies.
Yeah, next is Nicole. Ms. Nicole.
Hi, good evening, residents and most trustees.
Ms. Stubbs had its point. You know, you bought a house. You knew that the house need the grass cut. You might need a roof in 15, 20 years. These are expenses that you occur when you're a homeowner. You can't skate away from your taxes. You knew your taxes is due in the summer and winter taxes. You can't escape those. So these are expenses that you knew you had to take care of. And even if you didn't, you learned very quickly that these are expenses that you might not budget it for, but these expenses like lawn care, you have to do it. And I'm not saying seniors doesn't need help for lawn care, but why do other taxpayers have to pay for it? You guys put in the chat, why do other taxpayers have to pay for it? Why do they have to foot the bill so you could take care of a house that you own? It doesn't make any sense. And why can't they bill the taxpayers? I got a bill right on one of my properties. I have a bill right now because it's a piece of property. When I just purchased it, immediately after I purchased the property, a month later, I got a lawn care bill. Like, oh no, we billing you. We don't care. The city actually billed me for a property I just purchased. And I'm like, I just got the damn property. But they actually billed me, and I have to pay the bill. Whether the bill is high or not, if I think it's high or not, I still have to pay it. And that's what they should be doing to these property owners. I mean, okay, if the taxes are too high, they need to have something so the people won't lose their taxes. But you're not mowing the lawn. You know, you're just sitting and not mowing the lawn and seeing if even Joe Schmo, a kid down the street, could mow your lawn for $20 or $25. To me, it doesn't make any sense.
First and foremost, I cannot make this up. Tiffany is up there literally doodling in her spiral notebook. It's just a page full of doodling. That's so unbecoming as a mayor, okay? Not to mention, find another word, because you keep saying, that was dope. Yeah, we went out here, we did it. That was dope. You're a mayor. Why do you like the word dope so much? I mean, come on now. That's unbecoming, it's unprofessional, it's ghetto. It's, I don't know what, you're not at the Source Awards. Come on, I would like to know your position. I would like an update, a report, a statistic, a measurable outcome on some of these youth programs that you have. You don't do anything but cause disruption, intimidation, confusion, and I just don't understand what it is you're getting paid to do. Like I said, so you guys at the nail shop. Now I'm wondering, was that credit card you used for the townships? Because you did pay with the credit card, I saw that. But I would like for you to just give a statistic on the impact of your role, of your position, and what you're supposed to be doing. Keith Price, the way you talk to trustees, he's not here, but the way he talks to trustees should be reprimanded. I mean, you sit there, you let it happen, Tiffany, you let him sit from the seat, he's not even at the podium when he's degrading the trustees, you allow it to happen, you allow him to curse, then you try to school us like we're children on how to speak and how to conduct ourselves in a meeting, and you already no time to. You know, you allowed the stalemate to happen, you know, you wanted it your way, but it did not happen because you saw that they were going to have the meeting with or without you. So you had to pack up everybody and bring them down here where you should have been at the start of the meeting, trying to lock us out. We saw people that were behind us in line that were in that room. It was calculated, it was intentional, and you should be reprimanded for that.
Who can write up the supervisor?
Also, you know, you're always talking about what the media doesn't report and how they don't tell, how you pay for this, you pay for that, you pay for funerals, you give food, you pay rent. Why can't you help those vendors that you sick on, people like Gonzalez, you bully them, you know, by trying to make them pay? Why can't you have them utilize these resources that you say never gets talked about? You have plenty of resources, right? We're in the black. Send them to them. They're not going to get paid if they didn't go through the proper process. The sooner you learn that, the better off they'll be. They won't keep doing work knowing that they're not going to get paid. That's on them. That's on them. No, it's not on the trustees. It's on them. It's on them. Okay. Well, stop working. Stop working. Stop working. Okay, well, here. Let me time is up. Go to the township. Go to the
All right, your time is up, ma'am. Security.
Go to the food pantry. Go
Time is up. Your time is up.
No, go get your
Your time is up.
No, not even that. I'm just saying.
All right, your time up.
Okay.
All right, Emmanuel, come on. Emmanuel, come on. Go ahead, get your moment. This is one of y'all employees here that y'all did not pay.
And this is why I wanted to show this video. This guy was contracted with Dalton Township to make the videos. Now she employed him. So he's collecting a paycheck? Is he an official employee of Dalton Township? I don't know. But we already discussed yesterday, Tiffany loves to use vocabulary to fit her narrative. So she's calling him an employee. We don't know. Is he an employee, or is he actually a contractor, or did you give him a contract? We don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
All I'm saying is this. I want you all to understand what's actually happening here. Because I feel like a lot of people don't understand what's actually happening here. So right now, you all have a lot of people who've done a lot of work for this township. No, let me show you how. Right now, I am an employee of the township. Before that, as media. Yes, ma'am. Okay, as media. So everyone understands. Trustees, I want the trustees to understand. As media, before media, I have my own business that we've been running successfully. The Dalton Township was supposed to be just a client. I was supposed to be just a contractor. So the money that I charged the township I understand the township is very frugal when it comes to paying bills. So I charge way below market value for the services that I provided to the residents, not the trustees, not anything, to the residents. I'm literally showing you guys what your township offers you. This is not about a supervisor. This is not about other members of the administration. Right, time is short. Here we go. For the township, the trustees decided not to pay, but they are the reason.
So,
Correct.
Emmanuel, get it out. Don't go back and
Yes.
forth.
So I want you all to understand, if I work for the township and I'm showing you guys like what GA offers you, I'm showing you what Youth and Family Services is offering you. You are getting this not for free. You are already paid for it. You are already paid for these services. And instead of you all receiving those services, you're telling the trustees, don't give it to you. That's dumb.
Did he make any sense, you guys? This is why Tiffany has her following. Very, I don't want to use the word, the S word, the stupid word, but it seemed like they're so unintelligent. Even Michael Smith, he worked in government before, but you're so unintelligent to the fact of how it actually works. He's literally saying, oh, you already paid for it, so you might as well use it. No, that's not, they didn't already paid for it. Okay, yeah, it comes out of our taxes and they supposed to allocate the money for different resources, but they didn't already pay for it. It has to go through a approval process for them to pay for it. They don't like the way Tiffany is delegating their money. It seems like there's a disconnect between the process and what Tiffany's doing. And she's telling them, her, I guess, bullhorn people, her messengers, hey, this is what I did. They already paid for it. They should use it. But no, this is why does a board of trustee even exist? It's because they're supposed to govern the spending. They're supposed to create rules and regulation to govern the spending. They're supposed to vote on how to allocate the dollars of the township. And someone mentioned this. I don't know if they was there yesterday, if we saw them, but you're being greedy. You're the mayor of Dalton. So you host all the events in Dalton, but there's 17 other cities or 16 other cities that you never hosted a event in. And so you probably have a low turnout because Dalton, some people probably don't like going into the Dalton area. So you avoid all these other people, the other 150 or 40,000 people, and you just cater to those 20,000 people, or South Holland. I guess South Holland is the neighboring city, but you cater to those individuals and you just ignore everybody else because maybe the mayor don't like you, and then you send this unintelligent or uninformed, I'll just say ill-informed, I wouldn't call him unintelligent, but ill-informed person to send out messaging that's not right. It's totally wrong. That's not how it works. And he's very passionate about it. That's what's really crazy about this whole speech he's given.
That's literally what's happening. You already paid for it. But the trustees are fooling you because they're telling you, oh, you all don't want it. We're spending all this money. You all are actually in a surplus. You all are already audited and they received an award for financial transparency. So what I'm saying is you all are shooting yourselves in the foot.
Do you guys believe this? Remember, Tiffany did put that award up there for financial transparency. I believe that award was given to Frank Zuccarelli's term, and she accepted that award because he all of a sudden suddenly died. But do you actually believe Tiffany has one city and $7 million in debt, and this city or this township is running pristine? Do you guys actually believe it? And the same players were involved in the demise of Dalton, Illinois. You guys put in the chat. Do you believe Thornton Township is not in debt? It's operating in a pristine manner, and they don't have anything to worry about in Thornton Township.
I wish that my mom lived in Thornton Township. My mom was in a car accident, and my mom and my father passed away in the accident. My mom is very badly injured, and she's handicapped. She's in a wheelchair. My mom needs groceries delivered to her, but we have to pay for those groceries. They're offering you all getting those groceries delivered to your house that you already paid for. You already received, not necessarily, but you already received these things, but you are telling the trustees don't want it. I don't want it. But you all have to understand, this township is full of thousands of people. There's people there who do want it, that need it. That's not fair to them. You all are shooting them. Give them a chance. Don't just take the chance away from them. Trustees, don't just take the chance away from them. You have other people besides who was in this room that you all are literally killing. I met a man who was cutting his own grass at 89. Cutting his own grass at 89. He was on the list in order to get his grass cut. But instead of them being able to pay the people to cut the grass of this man, he's out there. He's literally risking his life to cut his own grass because the township board of trustees decided not to pay the people to cut his grass that he paid for. So I'm saying it again, all I'm saying is you already paid for these services. Just get them. Why tell them I don't want the services, but you pay for it anyways?
Okay, Emmanuel, done. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right, she's the last one, and then we're gonna.
Too much for me. I'm one of those seniors that people talk about. And I've been attending these meetings for years. We have been attending these meetings when Supervisor Zuccarelli was in the position. And so many people who are here now and have now walked out, I wanted them to hear this. Because we would come to meetings and there would be like 10 people there. And whatever he wanted done was done. And you talk about double dipping, he had 3 positions.
Only one pay. Only one pay.
I don't understand why. I mean, I just don't understand.
Only one pay.
And I am one of those seniors that some of you would like to radicalize. I mean, you want to say, we don't know anything. But I think I know a lot more than most of the people in here. Because you haven't been attending those meetings years ago. we have attended those meetings on a regular basis. And all of the things that you are talking about, he had a board where everybody voted yay. You were around when Darlene Washington was here on the board. Every time there was an activity, board members came. Not just in process and we always had to wait an hour or 2 every time we had a meeting. Every time we had a meeting. So that's how I know most of you haven't been to any previous meeting. Because if you had, you would have known that. I am appalled at the atmosphere. I'm sorry. I am appalled. We talk so much, but we don't listen. Now, I don't know the supervisor the way some of you know her. I don't know what she has done wrong, but I know that she has some terrific employees. And to the board members, they should all be paid because things that I have gone to, I mean, the employees are just fantastic. I have been to big bingo, but I didn't need a TV. So those people who did need it, got it. I didn't need it. It was fun. The music that she had playing was fun. The food that she had prepared was better. And the Mother's Day program was fantastic. And what I liked is she had young people. We had an etiquette class. And they were trained on how to serve. I have some fantastic pictures of those young people. You could order your meal. It wasn't buffet style. You didn't have to get in line. And the mothers there were thrilled. So I know the good side. I know the good side. I don't know that negative side. I'm sorry, I do not. There's some ugliness in here. May the good Lord bless and keep all of them. Because there's just too much, and I'm sorry that the other people walked out, because I don't know why they walked out. But I know one thing, this board needs to work together. There's some ugliness here. I don't want any ugliness. I want love. I don't know.
I've been struggling to keep in the front of my mind what I've been taught all my life. And that is, love your neighbor as yourself and do unto others as we would have others do unto us. And there's very little of that I've seen here tonight. So I've had to struggle to keep myself under control because I was upset with some things, I learned some things, and it sounds like Tiffany Henyard is the scapegoat for a lot of things. And I want to ask her not to be broken by this.
I especially am concerned about the employees because the senior center, and I'm concerned because I invited 4 of my neighbors to come to this meeting. And one came, but he couldn't stand a long time, so he ended up having to leave. But I'm a person who is a community person. So therefore, I want all of you to come to everything, not just the negative things, but everything, and see what's going on. I mean, really, because something's wrong here, and I'm not saying that anyone is perfect, but something is wrong here. Something is rotten in Denmark.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. I know you struggled to get up there, so thank you. Thank you guys for coming out. Again, if you want to hear anything about Thornton Township, tomorrow we will be in the same location. I would like to see a motion to adjourn. Is that?
Okay, so that was that. Like I said before, you don't sleep on Tiffany. She's reaching to the people that's going to show out or show up to the polls, and those are the senior people. And like that young, the lady that was just speaking, she just said, I don't know the bad of Tiffany. All I know is good. I know she has good employees. They treat her really nice. And even though she went to bingo, she didn't need a TV, but she played some good music. The snacks was good, and the employees treated her nice, and she had fun. So what more can you say to that? You can't say anything more about what Tiffany's, her whole, what do you call it? Agenda. This is her agenda. She knows how to work the crowd, and that crowd that shows up to the polls. So she more likely she will be reelected if you play around with Tiffany Henyard. I did want to share with you this last text before we move to the next, what is it called? The next subject. This text is supposedly from Keith Price. I'm saying it like that is because I'm not for sure. And I'm assuming that he's talking about Tiffany Henyard. I'm assuming that he's talking about Tiffany Henyard. It says Keith, then it has Keith Price's name on there. I didn't have it at the meeting because I didn't know she was going to lie again. Let me just read. This is from Ty. I don't know how to say that name, last name, Nguyen. According to Keith Price, he is not the Thornton Township administrator like Keith Freeman. Technically, Keith Freeman may still be township administrator. An assistant do not have the power for the whole township to report to. Remind Tiffany that. So he's basically saying that Keith Price is saying he was never appointed to administrator, and so he does not have the authority to do the things that Tiffany Henyard claims he has the authority to do. Okay, so he goes to say, go look at it on Lansing Journal's website. I'm the pantry manager's and TIF executive assistant. Neither of those have to be approved by the board. I didn't call her names. I called her what she is and showed it again with the video and email proof. What makes you think I'm going to keep allowing her to lie as if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do? Did you text her and ask her why she's lying? So maybe he's not talking about Tiffany. You guys put on the chat, what do you think who he's talking about? Is he talking about what is the girl name? Carmen Carlisle? Not for sure. Okay, it is convenient for Keith Price to pull records on Carmen now she's against Tiffany Henyard. Why won't they pull out the records for the whole goon squad like Keith Price assault and Michael Smith assault of his aunt? I bet with those records, Keith Price wouldn't be hired for any position at the city of San Jose, let alone the county of Santa Clara here in California. This is when you do your part and make sure your department business is handled, there is nothing to clear up. I'm just not okay with handling of business and unprofessionalism and the disrespect and the anger and the bullying that takes place during the meetings. Again, everything done in the dark comes to the light. And if you lie, you steal. And if you steal and lie, you lie, period. And this is for Keith Price answered back Lorice Payne, all that not to answer a simple question. You have a video and email proofs from what's presented. Did she lie? I already know she steals. She has charges for that. This is Carmen Carlisle. We already discussed this, that Carmen Carlisle has a record. It doesn't matter that she has a record now. You freaking hired her. And Keith Price, like somebody said, you hired your girl hired her, and now all of a sudden she's a bad person. Okay. What is this about? Howard Smith that asked about Timothy Gist. Here's a reminder about the police officers with multiple charges in the Dalton police force. I guess they have, this is interesting. Well, it's not interesting. We know, sometimes when you get to these smaller towns, they're desperate in need of police force. And so they hire people that have or had or has a checkered past. So, because they need bodies, right? So in larger 95% of the time, unless they were born there or they moved from a larger city because of their past, because they can't find a job at a bigger police office. And I guess this Timothy Smith guy, he had I don't see what's the big deal about this. Charged expired plates, who cares? I don't see a big deal about that. It looks like he had a civil suit because he owed Capital One Bank. Not a big deal. Then this other one was, this guy been everywhere. Well, no, this is all Kansas City. I don't know what I'm reading here. This looks like a bankruptcy. Failure to register motor vehicle. Owner operator motor vehicle with maintaining financial responsibility, authorized to operate in a motor vehicle. Okay. He pled guilty. This is a lot of, what is it called? Traffic stuff. Failed to signal. So this guy shouldn't be driving. Let's just get that. Failure to stop, failure to signal, operating a motor vehicle unlawfully or something like that. These are misdemeanors. Failure to appear. They had a warrant out for his arrest. Tax lien on some of his stuff. So, I mean, I'm not gonna. Okay, whatever. It's not a deal breaker for me. I mean, if he has some assault charges, I'll be like, okay, yeah, this is a horrible person. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about that. You guys put in the chat, let me know what you think about Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard, she does want to be the face of Thornton Township and Dalton Village, but she doesn't want to hold the accountability to the people. And that's your job. I mean, the way I don't care if you slice it, dice it, cut it up, fillet it, you are still accountable for the spending. And if you don't want to be accountable, like you said yesterday, you just don't want to be on the credit card or any resolutions that have to do with financial responsibility, well, that's too bad, because you're already getting investigated by the FBI. And then your boy went down, and I'm pretty sure he's working with the federal government to take you down. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Let me get to some of your chats. Malachi said, we are the people, never forget that, no matter creed, OD, any of the above. Or any of the above. Lexi said, UK is not that easy. They will only get arrested. Sometimes small towns will hire county sheriff's department to do the law enforcement. Yeah, that happens a lot. Small towns. Highland Park. I don't know if you guys remember, or if you heard of Highland Park. It's the city of Detroit surrounds Highland Park. Highland Park was Cannon. Cut it out. I can hear you all the way over here. Highland Park was surrounded. My son over there rapping. I guess he's freestyling, but anyway. So it's surrounding. Detroit surrounds Highland Park. Highland Park was bankrupt, and so they actually contracted with Detroit police to do the manning of the police. Matter of fact, I don't think they had their own department of anything. I think all of that was absolved once they went bankrupt. They used to have, I believe they used to have their own fire department at one point in time, but Highland Park went through some changes, and they really depend on the city of Detroit for most of those services. I don't know, but they still have their own town mayor and all that stuff. So I guess they pay a price for that. Anyway. Keefus says, Price is outing Carlisle criminal record, but Henyard had no issue appointing Carlisle as a trustee. Exactly. And I don't think Keith Price will have a problem with Carlisle if Carmen wasn't being combative now. She's not on the same side as Tiffany anymore. And Carmen is probably like, shit, number one, I need my job. And number two, I'm not trying to go to jail for you. Because she see how shady, well, she said it in the meeting. Hey, I can't trust you because you blatantly lied on me, so I can't trust you. So what are you saying? You saying I'm two-faced, but I can't trust you because you did X, Y, and Z. She ended up answering those questions in that special board meeting. She was fighting that credit card. Yeah, she was fighting that credit card. Tiffany was fighting that credit card. That was funny. Let me see if I can find my video again. Who was that under? R. Kelly. And R. Kelly and who was that? R. Kelly and Gayle King.
Say you
That's
were holding.
Stupid, guys.
I didn't.
Is this camera on me?
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid. Use your common sense. Don't forget the blogs. Forget how you feel about me. Hate me if you want to, love me if you want, but just use your common sense. How stupid would it be for me to, with my crazy past and what I've been through, right now I just think I need to be a monster and hold girls against their will, chain them up in my basement, and don't let them eat and don't let them out unless they need some shoes down the street from their uncle.
Robert,
Stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
Robert.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life.
Do you still sit here and say you have never...
This stuff. I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life. Stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life.
Gail was like, Robert? Somebody gonna be like, Tiffany? Tiff? Are you gonna answer the question? Tiffany gonna be on the stand. I didn't do this stuff. I didn't do it. I'm fighting for my life. That's what Tiffany gonna be like. Anyway, let's get to our next story. This guy, Sheriff Javier Salazar. He gave a speech last night at the DNC. Okay, you know the DNC been going on since Monday. They had some pretty good speakers. I hear Barack Obama, of course, he's very charismatic, so he, I guess, persuaded more people to vote for Kamala Harris, whoever listened to him, I guess. But it's Barack, okay? Reason why Barack got in office because he had that swag about him. Everybody thought, oh man, that's a cool dude, you know. So anyway, he gave a speech, you know, I believe Michelle Obama, Common was there last night. Some other artists, they had some good concerts or whatever. But this one guy in particular, his name is Javier Salazar. And he goes on for quite some time praising your girl, Kamala Harris, the border czar. First, they denied it that she was the border czar. Now they're taking ownership that she's the border czar, and she's doing a very fantastic job. She's doing a wonderful job. And this is what he said.
When Donald Trump comes down to Texas, stands next to officers in uniforms just like mine, he's not there to help us. Don't think that, not for a second. He is a self-serving man. I mean, look, just like when he killed the border bill, he just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail. Now, down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out. I may be paraphrasing a bit. We protect them. Now, the border sheriffs that I know, right, and we're like Kamala. We protect and serve. We enforce the law. We show compassion. And we fight like hell to protect our border. Because as we've always known in Texas, cuando luchamos, ganamos. When we fight, we win.
Okay, so he was praising your girl, Kamala Harris, and, you know, I guess shaming Donald Trump on his job because he killed the border bill. You guys know the border, there's never been a comprehensive border bill. Ever in the history of the United States. They've never had a comprehensive border bill. So we could blame, Donald Trump is not even in office. We could blame him. Why would you do that? Common sense, you blame, you know, the Congress that's in office and Joe Biden. Joe Biden has the authority to put an executive order out there. Or he could extend the bill that Donald Trump, the executive Donald Trump had in place. But you hate Donald Trump so much, you let that expire and you didn't put nothing in his place. So, okay, let's blame Donald Trump on the border bill. What about all the executive orders that you have the power to put executive orders on place, but you refuse not to? Somebody answer that question. Okay, Donald Trump, he's responsible. He's personally responsible for the border bill getting killed. Okay. But he's not in office. Hey, Joe Biden, what about the executive order? And if I'm Kamala, I'm the border czar. Hey, Joe, this is my fake phone. Hey, Joe, remember you put me in charge of the border czar in March of 2022? I was wondering, since I know Congress is not going to pass a comprehensive border bill, you think we could get an executive order passed or write an executive order to stop all the illegal immigrants coming in? No answer. No answer. I mean, come on now. They had so many. I'm pretty sure Joe Biden has written plenty of executive orders, but he refused to write an executive order on the border bill. Okay, so this fool, Sheriff Javier Salazar, now this was yesterday, right? This was yesterday. Back in 2022, he was begging somebody to show up. He was on MSNBC saying nobody has ever came to the border. And he wants people to come, the administration, to come to see what the hell is going on.
He's in the state of Texas.
Sir, tell us about what you are asking for. What are your needs?
Well, right now, thank you for having me, first off. Right now, what I'm asking for is for the president or a member of his administration that can make decisions to come down and talk to not just me, but at least 12 other Texas sheriffs from major counties in the state of Texas that are dealing with this issue firsthand. So I'd like to see somebody from Washington come down here, get boots on the ground, get eyes on the issue at hand, and then talk to us, a bipartisan group of Texas sheriffs that are really taking a common sense approach, because we have to.
Sir, tell us about what you are asking for. What are your needs?
So you're telling people to come down to the border bill or the border to see what's actually going on. Then you're talking to the current administration. And we found out a long time ago, Kamala, she's never been down to the border. She's never been down to the border. She said when what was the guy's name that was interviewing her? She claims that we have visited the border, and she repeats that we have visited the border. So, and the guy was like, "So you have visited the border?" No, but I never been in Europe either. What? Does that make any sense? So you flat out lied, and then you got your flunky to come up here and lie to the American people on the DNC stage, saying that, yes, she's doing great at the border. And Trump is bad. How much money did he get paid to say this? Hodge twin said this dude was paid off. This dude is 100% paid off or blackmailed because you switched your tune. And we know the border crossing ramped up in 2023 all the way up to about 3 months ago. They I guess whatever law they passed, I think they're making Mexico to enforce the law that you're not supposed to cross into the U.S. if they haven't received their papers. So you went off on this tangent, and then you start lying to the American people. It's a big scam. But nobody's talking about that. Okay, so they want you to believe that Kamala Harris is actually doing her job. Now, this is an interesting post. This is just about immigration, you guys. Since I talked about the border, nothing. I'm not against immigration. I'm against illegals. I'm totally against illegals. Now, there's a city, Topeka, Kansas, is paying $15,000 for relocation with the minimum salary of $50,000 for immigrants, Latinos, and Hispanic labor. Where's WS who file lawsuits against anything specifically for Black Americans? Is this discriminatory? maybe. But I do have a message for black folks. I think this is a valid argument that we could say, you know, they never, we're known as the bottom class. We were elected as the bottom class. I could say that. We were elected as the bottom class, and we continue to be the bottom class because we have not figured out a way for all of us to succeed. Maybe because of our mind or whatever, or maybe because of, I don't know. I'm not for sure. But we can't blame other people for our demise because we've been here longer than some Latino crossing the border. I mean, come on now. We have been here longer. This is discriminatory. If I go to Topeka, Kansas and say, hey, I'm willing to work these amount of hours on labor or whatever the job may be, or my husband, we want this job. And are they going to discriminate against, we found out black folks are not good employees, so we're not going to hire you. We're just hiring Latinos here. This is discrimination. But why did they get this? Why is there a stigma with Latinos being hardworking and black folks being lazy? Where did that stigma come from? They don't even want to hire white folks because white folks are getting lazy too. Where's that stigma come from? Are we? And you talk to a Democrat, they would say, oh, we don't want those jobs anyway. The average black man is making about $50,000 a year. Who say he don't want that damn job? Hispanics and Latinos are coming in to work these jobs that nobody want. Who said they are? So, I mean, yeah, I'm against illegal immigrants, but you have these cities and states and companies that are willing to take the gamble on immigrants, illegal immigrants, than they own people. This is what she said.
And they are paying for relocation. This city in the United States is trying to recruit more Latino and immigrant residents, and they are paying for relocation. Topeka, Kansas is a Midwestern city with a population of a little over 100,000 people. Recently, the city's mission has been to bring more economic development and support for employers through their Choose Topeka program. With this incentive, Latinos and immigrants can receive up to $15,000 if they rent or buy homes in the city and are employed by businesses that have partnered with the program with a minimum salary requirement of $50,000. Those who apply must have permission to work in the US, and the program isn't just open to Latinos and immigrants. It was recently expanded to military and returning residents. The city has admitted that they are dependent on immigrant, Latino, and Hispanic labor, and well, the truth is the whole country is, so maybe it's time for immigration reform so more Latinos and more immigrants can be a part of incentives like this. But what do you guys think about that?
So you see Latinos is and they're going to be the minority majority, and this is what is a dangerous game just for all Americans. You're going to say, yeah, we're going to give all these incentives to come into these different cities and states to work. These people are not used to what the requirements are for labor requirements. So of course they're going to work harder. And then they're going to be voting in some type of election. And you or us, you're going to be that class, the lower class that nobody cares about. This is why you should care about, like she said, immigration reform. Why wouldn't they be offering jobs to Americans? Not just black Americans, just Americans, people, period. I'm pretty sure there's some, this is Topeka, Kansas. I'm pretty sure there's some white boys in Topeka, Kansas that want to work. But this is a problem that we're facing in the U.S. This is an immigration problem. And they're going to be like I said, I don't have a problem with Latinos or Hispanics. I have a problem with illegal immigrants that's coming over here, and they're going to be the class that the government and other businesses are catering to because of this. We don't need you anymore. Instead of and listen to this, instead of the government actually fixing the problem, because right now we do have a fentanyl problem in America. We do have a opioid problem in America. And this is not a black American problem. This is an American problem. We have a lot of white people that's hooked on opioids. And instead of them fixing this fentanyl problem with our young people, working class, able-bodied people, they're ushering it. This is the biggest complaint. I'm a business owner. My biggest complaint is nobody wanted to work. I can't find people that want to learn a skilled trade. I remember I did this one job. This was a couple of years ago, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. I had to go on Craigslist to find a couple of laborers. I ended up getting about 4 or 5 people. We had this pretty big job. And only the job entailed was to open up the box and set it out. And then I had 3 other guys going up. We had a lift. We had to go up and install these electrical blinds. And there was a lot of them. The guys that I hired through Craigslist, they wanted to get paid daily, which I didn't have a problem paying them daily. But I knew that they were drug addicts. I knew. You could visibly see that they had a problem with some type of opioid addiction. They showed up. Sometimes they was late, but they showed up and worked. They tried to cut out early sometimes. And I made sure I didn't pay them until, the shift was over. And this is not no immigrants or anything like that. These were white, young American men. So instead of, if we're going to say, hey, yeah, we have a labor shortage, and so the government, and this is Democrats, we have a labor shortage. Let's usher in these military-aged men. Let's give them a job. We have a shortage of police department, in the police department. Let's give immigrants a gun. We have a shortage of military men. They're down in enrollment in the military. That's why when you see the border being open and crossed, it's not women and children, it's military-aged men. And the government is not fixing our problems. They're trying to say, okay, to fix our problems, we got to usher in more anti-American people. That's why you shouldn't vote Democrat. You got to fix the problem. And speaking of this problem, this is one of many problems. Just a second, you guys. This is where I want to get at. Okay, this is one of our many problems. Some people, they vote single problem voting. Immigration might not be your problem. You might not care about immigration. You might care about inflation. I didn't get a chance to talk about it because everything else was happening. but I did want to talk about Kamala Harris policies. She was able to put out her policies. They're still, her policies are still, they still didn't post up her policies on her actual website, but there were several news reports that came out with it. And let me see if this is it. To me, it seemed like they're really socialist communism policies. Nothing in her policies is saying that, especially on economy, she's actually fixing the problem. She's proposing to solve the problem by more government spending and oversight. That's how she proposed to solve our problems. Okay. Okay. This is from The Cut. Okay, so Kamala Harris on economy. Okay. Harris' first major policy speech focused on several economic proposals. She announced to build 3 million new housing units in 4 years. That's going to cost us $40 billion. The government wants to get into building affordable housing. What is that? The projects. Government housing. Harris also says she asked Congress to pass a legislation giving buyers up to $25,000 toward a down payment on their first home. That might sound a good thing on the surface, you guys, on the surface. But if you ever bought a home before, you know interest rate can impact your total amount of money available towards your down payment, number one, and towards the monthly payment. So if your interest rate is at 3% on a $300,000 home, your mortgage rate might be $1,000. But on a 6% at a $300,000 home, your mortgage might be $2,200. So interest rate matters. On top of that, you do have a program that's available if you're a first-time home buyer. If it's a FHA, you could get an FHA mortgage. That's only 3% down. That sounds really good until you get into how much, or it's 3.5%. It sounds really good until you get into how much house you can actually afford. So that $25,000 you thought might be towards the equity, no, it's not. That might just be your down payment. And you might not be able to afford a $300,000 house. It might be a $200,000 house. And you still will be paying $2,000 a month. Does that solve the problem of affordable housing? Does that solve the problem? You guys put it in the chat. You let me know. Does that solve a problem of your housing mortgage being affordable? No, you got less house and then you're paying more for a less house. And then on top of that, not only because this is inflation, this is called inflation. This is why I say Kamala Harris does not have the right people that knows about economy. I saw somebody in the chat, not today, but recently, they were saying, matter of fact, this was on X, Kamala Harris has a degree in economics. We have to realize Kamala Harris daddy was a Marxist. Karl Marx is an economist. He based his theory, Marxism, on economics. And his economics leans towards the communism way. So we're talking about, oh, Kamala Harris is so brilliant in economy. Okay, she learned the books, but her ideology is flawed. Ideology is everything. If you was taught you know the basis, but if you was raised by the devil, my daddy was Jeffrey Dahmer, and I went to school for phlebotomy. What the hell you think I'm gonna be doing? Like, come on now. My daddy was Jeffrey Dahmer, and I went to school for phlebotomy. What do you think I'm gonna be doing? Come on now. Common sense. Let's use common sense. Okay, so $25,000 down payment. Okay, so when it comes to children, this gets to my other point about Kamala. She has no original thought process. And I don't think it's nothing wrong to rip off somebody else's idea, especially if it was a good idea. But come on now. This is twice that you did this. When it comes to taxes, she is proposing the lower income adults who do not have children to see the expansion of their earned income credit taxes more on her proposal for those who do have children. This is not ripped off. Nobody's proposing this. She also vows to protect consumers by pushing the federal ban on corporate price gouging in the grocery food stores. She had okay, this is what she ripped off. She's proposing the Vice President Harris has been in the Biden administration led on policy seeking to lower child care costs for more than 100,000 low income. I wanted to enlarge it. Sorry about that. 100,000 low-income families. She's proposing a child tax credit expansion where low and middle-income families can receive up to $6,000 during the first year of their new baby's life. She also wants to bring back the credit from Biden's administration in 2021 American Rescue Plan that families get $3,600 per child under the age of 5. And $3,000 for children who are older. So this is that universal income type thing. Who's paying? But this is more government spending, you guys. This might sound good, but this is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. We're already in $3 trillion in debt. The people that are working, you're just going to end up taxing them more so you could take care of all these other people and immigrants. Okay? And immigrants. So back to the economy. She also wants to where am I at? She also vows to protect consumers by pushing a federal ban on corporate price gouging in the grocery store and food industries. Come on now, you guys. They did this in Venezuela. When you put a ban on or put a limit of how much a corporation or a business could charge for a certain item, what happens is some type of shortage and some type of black market, and you end up starving the people. That's why Venezuelans are over here, because they were starved out. They finally got their dictator out. But only reason why they were able to usher those type of plans is because You know, it was the guise of a good thing. Oh, prices are too high. Okay, we're going to put a cap on what these people could charge. And then you force these corporate entities out of business. And then now you have these government-ran grocery stores. And in these government-ran grocery stores, they put a limit, and you got to show up with your birth certificate. Remember, I talked about this months ago. You got to show up with your birth certificate and ID to get certain amount of things, to make sure, oh, you only got 4 people in your household, so you're only allowed 1 juice. You go to the grocery store and it's empty. It's not enough food because you force the people out of business. And now the government is controlling your food source, so they can do whatever the hell they want to do with you. It doesn't work. And this is not a fix on the problem. Then, of course, we know reproductive rights. She's touting that healthcare, prescription drug, gun safety, immigration. Now, immigration, she is saying Harris has pledged that her immigration policies include strong border security and earn a pathway to citizenship. Her proposal includes increasing the number of Border Patrol agents, investing in technology to crack down on fentanyl, increasing stop human trafficking. She also said that she want to work with Congress to revive the bipartisan border security bill that would allow the president to shut down the border after a certain number of migrants enter the country. I think she totally ripped this off of President Trump. Republicans killed the measures earlier this year and urging of Donald Trump, who didn't want the President Biden to notch another bipartisan victory.
On the border, the choice is...
I think
simple. Kamala Harris supports increasing the number of Border Patrol agents. Donald Trump blocked a bill to increase the number of Border Patrol agents. Kamala Harris supports investing in new technology to block fentanyl from entering the country. Donald Trump blocked funding for technology to block fentanyl from entering the country. Kamala Harris supports spending more money to stop human traffickers. Donald Trump blocked money to stop human traffickers. Kamala Harris...
So, this this is just straight out lie. You know, we know Donald Trump is not even in office, number one. Number two, Kamala Harris, you're in office. You could do this now. But you refuse to. You refuse to do this now. This leads me, before I leave you guys, it leads me to my next point. Donald Trump was actually talking to Vaughn. What's the guy's name? I think his name is Theo Vaughn. On one part of it, I'm not going to play the interview, but on one, it has almost 8 million views. It dropped yesterday. On one part of the interview, Theo Vaughn, he's a covering addict. He was addicted to alcohol and he was addicted to drugs. And we know Donald Trump, he doesn't touch any other stuff because he said he had a brother that was addicted to alcohol. And his brother Fred told him, if you do anything, do not drink or smoke. So he never did. He saw his brother go down, his health fade and all that stuff. And they thought he was going to die several times, and he never did. And he mentioned how resilient his body was. But anywho, he actually asked Theo what is the biggest problem, what he thinks is the biggest problem. And they went back and forth, and they started talking about fentanyl, and Theo was like, I think alcohol is the biggest problem, but I think fentanyl is really addictive, and I think it's one of those things that, you take it 1 or 2 times and you're hooked. Whereas alcohol, even though alcohol is more available, you don't start, oh, take one drink and you hook like that. But fentanyl is the biggest problem. And talks like these with, Theo is not an everyday American, but he has a past with illicit drugs, and he hangs around. He said he used to hang around people that does these type of things, and so we're saying that Donald Trump is not looking at these type of things, or he's not worried about it. I beg to differ. Can Kamala sit down and talk to, just people, have a casual conversation about anything, even about being addicted to alcohol? Like literally, they was talking about being addicted to alcohol. You don't have those type of conversations. So how can you say you're so worried about the border and you so worried about fentanyl? Back to my original point, the government is not fixing the real root cause of the problem. They're worried about we don't have enough workers. Well, why don't we have enough workers? Why don't we have enough workers? Our education is messed up. I mean, our education system is effed up. If you telling me kids that's in the 6th grade got 3rd grade reading level, that's messed up education. They don't know how to calculate measurements. These skilled trade jobs, you need to know 1/8, 3/8, 5/8, 1/16, measurements. A pound, a quarter pound, a distance, inches versus centimeters. Well, we use the English metric system, but inches to foot, that kind of thing. This is skilled trade. You need to know how to do a 45-degree angle cut inside, outside. And if you don't know that kind of stuff, usually you just need basic education, which is high school, not even high school. But our kids can't even do that kind of stuff. And then instead of fixing that problem, you get our kids hooked to drugs, then you have another problem. So they're uneducated, and then they have drugs. They have a drug problem. They didn't have that back in the day. We were probably uneducated, maybe, especially black folks. Probably some of us was uneducated, but they still was able to work a job and learn. But no, we have two problems. We are uneducated and we have a drug problem. And a mental health problem on top of that. Anyway, I know I talked your ear off. You guys let me know what you think. We got a lot of chats in here. Cincy Bourne said every child born owes the federal government $100,000 out of the room. Are you saying because of labor and delivery charges, or you're just saying because of tax? You're living this is a tax that is assumed when at birth. A U.S. tax. Hey, you live on this land, and it's expected that in a lifetime that a normal person should be paying about $100,000 in taxes. I'm assuming that's what you're saying, but put it in the chat. B said Nugawan is pronounced win. I knew it was something that didn't sound like Nugawan. This is funny. When all those Capitol folks, included her, kneeled together with the African scars for the BLM fraud, that was it for me. That was hilarious. Because they was kneeling, this was standing in solidarity with George Floyd. They look ridiculous. That's that pandering stuff. I can't take it. $35 trillion in debt. 100K is, I think you're saying cheap. Is the 35 trillion we are in debt divided by the population. Okay. You guys, before I let you go, let me just show you this other thing I was looking at. This is Kamala's, is this it? No. Now remember, Kamala came out with her plan, you know. Is this it? Right? Is that CNN? Sure, there's 10. I was trying to find that CNN report. Let me see if I can find it. CNN actually ripped Kamala Harris' plan apart, which I thought it was interesting because usually they're praising Kamala Harris. Okay, this is it. Okay, so this is economist. Her name is I believe her name is Kathy something another. Anyway, so she actually destroys Kamala Harris policy, and this happened like the day after Kamala Harris, you know, talked about her, not even talked about it, but, you know, they posted her policy on the news. I don't know if they sent in a written piece to one of the legal or the mainstream media people, legacy media people, but this happened like hours after they read her plan.
I read your piece and I heard you just mention it. The federal ban on price gouging for groceries. You are skeptical of this. Why?
Well, first of all, nobody can explain what price gouging means. It's like that old line about pornography. I know it when I see it, in the sense that what does it mean to have an excessive price or an excessive profit margin? That seems to be shorthand for a price or a profit margin that bugs me. That seems too high. So, you know, it's very hard to pin down what this would actually mean. If you look at the legislation that, as I mentioned, is already in the Senate, led by Senator Warren and Senator Bob Casey and a slew of others, the particular way that this is written, which is likely to be the template for any proposal that Harris would eventually embrace, is especially bad in that it just bans excessive prices, grossly excessive prices, grossly excessive profit margins, and says that the Federal Trade Commission can use any metric it deems appropriate to decide what that would mean, which basically says, like, it's not going to be markets, it's not going to be supply and demand that's determining how much your grocery store charges you for milk or for eggs, it's going to be some bureaucrat in DC, which seems like totally unworkable, first of all, for the FTC to be deciding like how much Kroger charges for eggs in Michigan. But it also would be very bad for markets. We've seen this kind of thing tried in lots of other countries before: Venezuela, Argentina, the Soviet Union, etc. It leads to shortages. It leads to black markets, plenty of uncertainty. And beyond that, the specific way this bill is written might actually increase prices because of some of the other language in it. Things like requiring companies, public companies, to disclose in their quarterly reports, their quarterly earnings reports, how they're setting prices, which is a great way to help them collude, which normally we don't want them to do. So anyway, the devil's in the details, I guess, for that bill, but it's really hard for me to imagine any form of legislation that preserves the spirit of what she's proposing that would not be, at best do nothing, at worst cause a lot of harm.
At best, do nothing, or at best, cause a lot of harm. Okay, so like I said, Kamala, I don't think she has the right people in her corner. Even though some people might say, "Oh, she does have an economic degree," but she's not an economist. All we know, she has the ideology of a Marxist. That's what they practice, Marxism. Okay? Anyway, you guys put in the chat, let me know what you think. Missing 4111, not going to comment on white people in the country, just like inner city blacks. I don't know what you're getting at, but whatever. Venezuela went bankrupt. Yeah, they went more than bankrupt. Venezuela, right now, they're going in the they're in the uprising right now. They're saying possible short sources of sanctions over election. U.S. drafts list of 60 Venezuelans for possible sanctions over election, sources say. Why do you have to stick your nose in the U.S.? I know we blacklist Venezuela. We don't want to accept any oil from them. Okay. And I hear Kamala Harris is talking about lifting that any moment now. But, okay, whatever. You want them to have a democratic process, but we don't have a democratic process here. You trying to sanction somebody and you're not holding up your end of the bargain. Somebody needs to sanction us. Anyway. You see all these people out here. Because the current dictator didn't want to step down. He didn't want to concede the race. And then eventually he concedes a few days later, I guess. Okay, you guys, let me know what you think. Put the chat. Yeah, she is a puppet. Put it in the chat. Let me know what you think. I'm sending all my good to you. You guys, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon.